There are websites out there that allow you to go and review certain businesses from the perspective of someone that works there. And I think it'd be cool and interesting to learn about what the people at Game Freak think about working at Game Freak, because it's one thing to look from the outside in. It's one thing to look at the bugs in Scarlet and Violet and say, it's this way because of XYZ, it's this reason, this reason, this reason. We don't really know, but the people that work at the actual company probably have a much better idea about what's going on. Red, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, I'm terrible and an idiot, made a video called I Exposed What's Really Going On at Game Freak, where, well, let's let him explain.
Welcome to Job Talk. This is a Japanese website that features job reviews made by professionals. It's very similar to English websites like Glassdoor and Indeed, if you're familiar with it. Here, you can search any company, see job reviews about them, and their ratings. From Nintendo to Square Enix to From Software, you can search any video game company, heck, any company. Our topic is Pokemon, the mainline series, so we're going to take a look at Game Freak's job reviews. Through this, perhaps we can see what are the strengths and weaknesses of Game Freak and what's really going on.
Here we
Before
go.
we start, I must make some disclaimers because this is a quote-unquote serious topic, okay? Disclaimer number 1, I'm not a Japanese speaker. We're going to use Google Translate for this, so
which means that there's going to be a lot of issues in the translation, but you'll still get the general idea, I think. So don't take the individual words and sentences as exact biblical accuracy, but you can take the general vibe of a review and be like, okay, they kind of mean this. So there will be some mistakes in the translation, obviously.
Can be mistranslations or things not picked up. Disclaimer number 2. This is a problem with all job review websites, but there's the problem of bias and limited sample size. Usually, only people with strong opinions leave reviews. Either they really love the company so much to leave compliments, or really hated the company to leave 1-star reviews. It's like Yelp reviews, but on a different scale, I guess.
I also did a little bit of, I'll say research. I Googled some things beforehand to see what the reputation was. So this is Game Freak's. Game Freak has a 2.94% rating on this website. And I compared this to some of the other game development websites or companies that are on here. We have Sega at 3.5, we have Capcom 3.5, we have Konami at 3.5, and then Nintendo with 714 reviews has 4.87 evaluation, which is crazy when you think that most people reviewing might be a little bit disgruntled after they work at a place. Maybe they get fired or they just didn't like it, so that's when they go and review. But these are people that have worked at Nintendo, in theory, and have gone on and made a review. Now, you may say, okay, well, how do we know this is trustworthy? He actually made a follow-up video after this. I won't play the entirety of the follow-up video, but the essential gist of what the follow-up video explained was this website is very hard to join. They make you submit your resume. They make you submit a lot of personal information to be able to get onto it. They also delete a lot of sketchy reviews, and they don't publish reviews until they've been checked by a person. Also, you can't edit reviews, you can't delete reviews, so once it's up there for good. You need to pay to read reviews, so it would be a little bit weird to just completely make up this entire fabrication, though you could, and go on this website, make a really bad review of lies, when the only people that see it are people that pay to see it anyway, so it's a very small amount of people that see it regularly. And every chance of a fake review has the opposite chance of being a good review, obviously. And there's even been a case of litigation coming from a fake review that was made on this website. So if you do just go on and lie about things, you can actually get sued, which I assume that most people want to dodge that. So I kind of trust this a little bit more after this. There is still obviously a chance where someone could do all of this, not care about anything, and go on and just like talk smack. So it's very important that you keep that in mind while we look at this. But also, if there is a general trend of what a lot of reviews are saying very similar things, then you can get an idea of, okay, it's not just one person. It's many people saying the same thing, right?
Before I begin, I want to preface that each company gets an average rating score, and Game Freak is one of the lowest rated game companies that I could find. Sega is 3.53, Capcom is 3.52. Konami, I'm actually surprised about this because I know Konami has a very bad reputation in terms of like how it treats employees, and Konami has 3.57. Nintendo has 4.86. Sony Interactive Entertainment, so this is where they make PlayStation, has 3.98. Square Enix has 3.57. Bandai Namco has 3.79. Koei Tecmo has 3.22. So you can see almost every game company, major company, has more than 3. And
yeah, there are some under 3, but it's pretty rare to get under 3 on this.
What does Game Freak have? 2.94. That's not.
It's almost
sign,
3.
okay?
Guys, we're almost at 3, guys. We're almost there.
3.
We're close.
2.94. That's not really good sign, okay?
We're
The only
close,
other
guys.
game company I could find that has less than 3 is Platinum Games, which has a 2.95. I believe they made the Bayonetta games. Intelligence
Wait, didn't Platinum Games make Persona as well?
Systems.
Or is that wrong?
This is really interesting because Intelligent System is a bit like Game Freak because they're technically a Nintendo company, but they're not. They make the Fire Emblem games, so it's like a second party. It's like they're like a third company, but a second party, and they have a pretty low score too. So because people might be curious, I also searched Monolith Soft because they do a lot of help developing Nintendo games, and they have a 3.21 too. Anyways, we're at Game Freak.
Alright, let's get some reviews.
So with this website, they have
that's
one
Atlas?
review,
Okay.
which is like a feature review where everyone can see, and everyone else you have to pay to look. Good point. Depending on the project, there are differences such as basic attendance at the office and hybrid work is possible, but if possible, you can request to work from home. So I guess this means like COVID problems. It talks about like you can work from home and work at a company too. So I'm gonna guess Game Freak, they did well with the COVID pandemic lockdowns.
That's good.
Here's
Point
the
1
really
for
concerning
Game
thing.
Freak.
Things to be worried about or points that should be improved. Number 1, okay? The number of employees is still small compared to the scale of the title we are mainly developing. I'm gonna repeat that.
Okay, not many people.
Employees is still small compared to the scale of the title we are mainly developing.
Okay, that's...
Remember when I recently
We knew that.
where I said Game Freak doesn't have enough employees? They only have like 169 employees, and other companies have like 500. That's a big oof.
Yeah, depending on the kind of game that you're making, necessarily more people doesn't necessarily mean a good thing, because more people means harder to manage, more people means delegation of tasks becomes a lot harder, but more people can be better at making big projects, obviously.
Right there. And the development schedule is short. I said in the previous videos that there's too many games in a short span of time. That's Pokemon's biggest problem.
Yeah, we've been knowing this.
There's 2 small employees and the development schedule is short. That's just mask off right there for me. That's why I wanted to make this review. It says right there. That's an actual worker from Game Freak who's saying that. It was difficult workplace overall to find secure private time. So I'm gonna guess it means they make you work a lot. In most cases, you work from.
I mean, isn't that just like normal Japanese things? Like it's not good necessarily. You don't want to overwork people, but I think Japanese companies in general have this culture of, you better not leave before the boss does. You better be working all day and night, baby. You better not go home.
Too late at night. So it means they're getting crunched. It means Game Freak people are working long hours to make those games.
This one said that you won't get paid overtime, which is insane to me.
And I felt the more I got promoted, the more difficult it was to ensure a work-life balance. And the rest of the review is talking about overtime hours. So, okay, so the takeaway from the review, there's not enough employees. The development schedule is too short. I want you guys to remember that Game Freak was once a game company that made handheld games, like 2D games, and now they moved on to HD Switch, and they have to make $60 games now. So I think this is what they mean by still small compared to the scale of the title we were mainly developing. Like, they went from making Pokemon Sun and Moon to Pokemon Sword and Shield like in a year, so...
Yeah, that is a big jump.
Yeah,
on a completely different system.
That is not good.
And they have to pump out these games like every year.
I want to read the lowest star reviews first because that's going to be the more...
Alright, so we're going with the lowest stars. Now, bear in mind, there isn't just low star reviews, there's also high star reviews. There are good as well as some bad. And a lot of people writing low star reviews might be a little disgruntled because they've been treated poorly, but we'll see.
We're going to read the good reviews too, so be patient. Okay, so this one's a 1-star review. This review was around 2021, so this was around the time when Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and Legends of Arceus was getting developed. Good
2022, early 30s woman, contract employee. The skills of external part companies and outsourcing companies are high, and there is something to learn. Okay, so they outsource to companies that are pretty competent, which is good. Since full-time employees with long careers do not acquire new skills, most of these skills are handled by outsiders. Okay, so they're saying they're outsourcing so that they don't have to keep these people in-house, I suppose?
The skill of external partner companies and outsourcing companies are high, and there's something to learn. So if you don't know, I should have mentioned this in the previous videos, but Game Freak does work with other companies. Like Monolith Soft. I mean, I'm pretty sure there were some employees from Monolith.
Yeah, so when people say things like, oh, Game Freak has like no people there, no employees, is because they outsource a ton of their work to other companies. So they don't necessarily employ these people in-house. They'll do like a lot of contracting and they'll do like a lot of outsourcing. So it may seem like they're a really small studio, but they do have the power of being able to bring people in to work on things for certain periods of time and then, you know, saying, all right, see you later, buddy, when they're done.
That helped Game Freak make Paldea world design or something. Things to be worried about, points that could be improved. Since full-time employees with long careers do not acquire new skills, most of these skills are handled by outsiders.
That's brutal, man.
So that's not.
You just said you suck.
Any company. So people who's been at Game Freak for a long time, they're not skilled enough. That's not a good sign.
That's kind of a roast right there.
That regular employees and outsiders, there's a big skill difference. So yeah, Game Freak developers, long-time developers, they need to gain more talent. That's what the review is saying. By the way, I just realized,
let's see what else they said. They said that, oh, this is a different person. Okay, hold on. I want to go back to this previous one. As a result, there's a large difference in the amount of work between regular employees and outsiders. Basically, employees have a stance of leaving most of the miscellaneous tasks that they don't want to do, such as how to use the software and in-game specifications, like I said, there might be some translation issues, to others. So it's a gap for someone who has been doing everything by themselves until now. Was intense. At the very least, I want you to acquire the minimum information gathering ability. Okay.
That's what the review is saying. By the way, I just realized there's a company profile on this website, and it says there's 143 people working on Game Freak, which is interesting because Wikipedia
it's quite small.
169, and this says 143, and Wikipedia.
I mean, Wikipedia, I guess, could be wrong, but also this website could be wrong as well. Either way, it's around about the same number. Like, I don't think a number of like 20 people would make a massive difference to a company like Game Freak.
Wrong, and there's actually less people at.
And I guess with contracting, I don't know if they'd count those. Maybe in Wikipedia, they'd count like contracted employees as employees for a certain period of time, and then they get rid of them, so it fluctuates constantly.
Oh my god, this is concerning. There's a lot of reviews about like HR problems. Like this review is talking about discriminatory higher ups, and this one says there's many.
It says there's a company culture with many people who are narrow-minded and self-righteous, especially new graduates. So new additions to the company are narrow-minded and self-righteous. I guess that might make sense. Because if you're a new game developer, you're just out of school, and you get a job with the people making the biggest media franchise in the world, like the main boys on the job making Pokemon games, you probably think that you're big shit, right? I guess that would kind of make sense.
Any high-pressure people. And I felt stress in human relationships. So Game Freak isn't really doing well with HR, I think. Maybe this is around from 2020, so they might have changed, and I hope they changed. Oh, here's an interesting one. Good point about working at Game Freak. You're associated with famous titles. I mean...
Good point, you're associated with famous titles. I mean, that's not really anything to do with actually working at the company, though, is it?
On my resume that I worked on Pokemon, I guess it'll look pretty good because Pokemon has a pretty, it's pretty famous. It's a household.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, when it comes to interviewers for other companies, they'll look at something. They'll look at a resume or a CV in the UK, and they'll see, oh, you worked on the series that makes brillions of dollars and infinite money? And you worked on this series? You helped them make infinite money? That's pretty good.
But this is concerning. It's not rewarded to keep making the same thing.
Oh, man. Yeah.
It's not rewarded to keep making the same thing. Pokemon has been making the same games for 25 years now, and...
Yeah, I was gonna say, you have to imagine the perspective of someone that's been working on Pokemon games for like a long time. And this just goes for any type of game that just does the same thing every year or does very similar things like Call of Duty, FIFA, Assassin's Creed. If you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, it's probably not gonna be very fun or enjoyable past a certain point.
And not much has changed. They don't have time or people to try new things or technologies. Oh no. And they don't even try to keep past data. They don't even try to keep past data.
They don't try to keep past data? I wonder what that means specifically. They delete everything they make in other games? Like what?
We're always bitching about like them getting rid of the national dex, and here's an employee saying they even try to keep past data. I can't recommend it if you want to make games or improve your skills.
I guess you're not really being challenged by new stuff as much if you work at Game Freak. Maybe that's what they're saying.
Okay, this is another concerning one. It says again, good point associated with famous titles. Bad point. There are a lot of people who are arrogant about what they can sell if they put it out, lacking technical skills and no ambition, and clinging to it.
Jesus Christ.
They know.
This person's upset.
Like, they know it will sell well. Like, they don't care about what they put out. They lack technical skills and no ambition. That is Game Freak. That's an employee of Game Freak admitting that.
I don't believe that every single person at Game Freak doesn't care about the game they're making. I feel like if you go into game development, it's just such a hard thing to do. You have to at least be passionate about that in some way, and you have to work hard to make a game even if it doesn't come out perfect. You have to work hard to make a game even if it comes out incredibly buggy. So there's still probably like a few people that are super passionate that work really hard on every single game, even if they're surrounded by a lot of people that, you know, maybe are a little bit more apathetic, we'll say.
In 2020. I don't learn new things because I only make the same thing. Positions are determined by how flattering the superiors are, and there are people who are unreasonable to their subordinates and colleagues and force them.
I like this one. It says security is too strict, even within the same production team. It's not possible to see the work of others, and it is not possible to interact within the company to improve quality or create a single title with a sense of unity. That is an insane thing to me. I understand that they really want to prevent leaks and everything about that, but you can't communicate with other areas of the same production team. Assuming there's no translation error, I think that means that you can't communicate with other areas of people working on the same game as you. That kind of disjointed style of creating a product seems like it's just a recipe for disaster. How can you create a unified, connected piece of software if you can't communicate with the people that are also making it alongside you? Is that really just to prevent leaks? I mean, I guess you definitely want high security on something like this, but man, that's really restrictive.
So there's bullying too. People with low skills and knowledge have been in positions for many years and are stagnant. Whereas people with low skills and knowledge have been in positions for many years and are stagnant.
Hey, leave Masuda alone.
It's too strict. Even with same production team, it is not possible.
He seems like a nice guy.
I mean, I think this is understandable because major franchise and like spoilers and leaks. Like, I'm pretty sure this is frustrating for the workers, but I understand why they have to keep tight security because they don't want.
Yeah, I get it.
Like, get new info getting leaked to central leaks or something. I think it's a very difficult environment to create as a producer. And if you try to take on a new challenge, it's security, so there's security problems, and the production period is too short to even try it out. So
yeah, think about it. I mean, imagine you're a bright-eyed, doe-eyed little developer that's come out of school and you work at Game Freak. Oh my god, I'm going to be able to do so many cool things to these Pokemon games. You come in and you have a creative idea. You put it down to paper. And everyone thinks it's really cool. You take it to your superiors and they're like, well, we can't really communicate with that department, so you can do no Pokeball animation, though. You can do a crit capture animation. Want to do that?
Well, I think the game industry is 2 to 3 generations behind. Okay, I think this is a mistranslation. I think it said she says the company Game Freak is 2 to 3 generations behind the game industry. I mean, that kind of feels correct. They still haven't figured out how to do online. 2 to 3 generations behind. I mean, we make fun that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet looks like a GameCube game. The workers are admitting that like the skills of the company is 2 to 3 generations behind the industry. That is not great. No matter, okay, and this is probably the most concerning one. No matter how late the development was, they delayed their release date.
Yeah, they're too connected. They're too connected with everything else. Pokemon is one of those franchises that is too interconnected with everything else that is going on in the franchise that they need these new games to come out so they can do the TCG. They need the new games to come out so they can do the merch drop, so they can do the Koraidon and Miraidon plushies for the 5-year-olds to go, oh, can I get that one, Mom? And then you get all the Koraidon plushies and there's all the Miraidon plushies just left over because Koraidon is way cooler.
I'm gonna repeat that. No matter how late the development was, they didn't delay the release date. So I always talk about how in the latest Zelda vs. Pokemon video, I talked about how Zelda released like they delayed the game for like 3 years for Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. And Pokemon, they've put out like 5 games during that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, depending on the size of the franchise, you could make this work. If you had enough people and a competent enough leadership, you could make this work, this Ultra Sun, Let's Go Pikachu. You could release all these games and have them be, pretty good games, as well as having Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom be really good because this is being worked on by the same team. You could make this work. They don't have the time, they don't have the leadership, they don't have the competency in organizing the products or the projects. I think the security is super tight, so it also makes it hard to develop things like this.
Same time period. It's too many games, and there's short enough time. Like, it's not a secret. Even the workers know that. Maybe just the higher ups don't understand, or they don't care. They just know it'll sell well. Okay, this is from 2018, so this is around the time
this is a bit older.
Was being developed. This is from a contract employee and a game planner. Things to be worried about. Okay, this is gonna be the takeaway quote of the video. Even if the quality is low, I think it will sell well, so I don't spend a lot of money. Even if the quality is low, I think it will sell well, So I just spent a lot of money.
I think that's from the perspective of the company. He's saying that, oh, they're saying even if the quality is low, it will sell, so we don't have to invest much. I think that's coming from the perspective of the company.
Even if the quality is low, I think it will sell well. Even if the quality is low,
Yeah, I mean, like,
it will sell well.
yeah, this has been a thing that we've known.
Low, I think it will sell well.
$22 million in 3 fucking hours!
No. Oh no. Let's go! Money! Do you like money?
They know that it will sell well anyways. It's a joke, but
I also want to see what else he's saying. Even if you try hard to make the title better, it won't be appreciated since there is no non-regular evaluation system. The correct answer is to just do the work that you are told. Even if you do your best to make something good, it will be normal. In addition, since it is top-down, proposals from below are basically not accepted. That's interesting because I've heard, I don't know, if we go up to some of the other, like, I'm sorry to skip ahead, but if we go to some of the other reviews later on in the video, some of the better reviews, I saw when I was doing a little bit of background checking on what was going on with this, I saw a lot of people saying that the higher ups are actually totally open to hearing ideas from people lower on the ladder, right? So let's have a look at some of the higher starred reviews and see what they say.
okay, 4-star review. I just moved recently, so the office is very clean. So this is a new employee. The meeting room is also fully equipped, including a free space so you can have a quick meeting. Okay, so the office environment of Game Freak is really nice, and they released photos of Game Freak's offices, and I have to admit,
damn.
the office looks very nice.
Damn,
Regarding
sleek.
meals, we have introduced office moms, and we are grateful
Office
to
mommies?
be able to eat when we are hungry. So I guess this means they have really nice chefs, and I'm gonna guess that it's Junichi Masuda and Shigeru Mori right there.
They're making some sausage curry on the daily, boys.
Yeah, they're cooking curry, and they're gonna hand it out to employees. So they have, at least they're getting fed at Game Freak.
They eating good over there.
4
They should. They get $1 billion a day.
star review. When I joined this company, it was all about Pokemon. Working on a world-famous title and receiving user evaluation from all over the world is rewarding. I mean, if I was working at Pokemon and my game sold tens and millions of copies, I guess I would be proud. Also, there is no seniority at all, and the director listens to opinions equally.
Ah, yeah, see, that's what I meant. So there's no seniority at all. The director listens to opinions equally. So that, yeah, that actually contradicts the other review that we saw before. That other review might have been from earlier on. It might be from like 2018, because this review is from August of 2021. So it's a lot more recent.
If you're interested, you will be hired. Some teams have leaders in their 20s and subordinates in their 40s or older.
That's cool.
So, I'm gonna assume.
Oh, no, wait. I just noticed the bad point. Hold on. Things you should be worried about. There are no titles that sell well other than Pokemon. Oh, that's so sad. I forgot that Game Freak actually makes other games. Remember Little Town Hero? Oh, that's sad. That's rough.
I'm gonna assume this means there's a lot of turnover rate. So in the previous reviews, people were complaining that there was too much turnover rates. So I guess that depends on perspective. If you like it when a company is filled with less experienced people but younger people, or people who's more experienced but might be more have big power distance over you. Especially this is Japan, right? Where there's a lot of problem with elders in organizations. Things to be worried about. There are no titles that sell well other than Pokemon.
That's so sad, dude. That's.
I mean, I'm
that feels bad.
Play that Little Town Hero game, right? And
oh no, he made the reference.
Game was it? That elephant.
What the hell is this? What in God's name?
Badass elephant or something?
Temple the Badass Elephant?
Anyways, it's so random.
That's cute. You know, I actually really like that about Game Freak is that you can come into them with like a goofy idea, and if they like it enough, they'll just say, yeah, let's do it. Let's make it. I don't know a lot of game companies that do that, though. At the same time, I've never worked at a game company, so maybe I'm just a doofus. But you can just walk in and be like, hey, like, I have an idea. It's a really big elephant, and he has, like, knives and grenades and stuff. And they're like, boom, let's do it. Yes, baby. Get that on the table. Let's develop this game.
That's like an indie game. Okay, let's go to 5-star reviews and see, like, people who really love working at Game Freak.
Okay, 5-star Game Freak reviews.
Regarding the work-from-home system, they sent me the same development equipment with the same certification as the company, and I was able
as
to
they
work
should
without any problems. The
Good.
performance of the development equipment is also quite high.
Nice.
So again, they talk about the work-from-home thing, and I guess it was on everyone's mind during the pandemic. And I'm gonna assume this means they sent like dev kits to everyone's home, so.
Yeah, I mean, you should be doing that. Like, if you actually want to be able to develop a game, you have to send dev kits to people's homes. Like, I know there's a security issue. You still have to make a game somehow. If you can't go into work, then It's got to be done. I mean, they can't delay the game now, can they? Also, I have an important comment that I need to reference at the end of the video. We'll get to that in a bit.
They can work at home, and that's a good thing for a company to do. Things to be improved. There used to be something like a circle activity, and there was a subsidy, but now the activity is gone. It's an environment where it is difficult to communicate with people outside the team. So
yeah, it's an environment that's difficult to communicate with people outside the team. So outside of your immediate team, it's hard to communicate with people, which, again, like that's the same thing that we had before.
Like you to make such efforts. So again, this guy is just saying there's a problem with communication between teams, and yeah, I think that could be improved. Okay, well, another 5-star review. This is from 2021. Since it's Pokemon, the opinion of the upper class is absolute, and I thought that the staff class wouldn't be able to give their opinion, but that wasn't the case.
Okay, this is also from August 2021. So it looks like even if you're pretty low down on the ladder, you're like a new hire, they'll probably still listen to your ideas and potentially implement them as well.
It's a culture that encourages people to express their opinions, and I was surprised and rewarded when my opinion was adopted, even though I had just joined the company. It is an open company and an environment where it is easy to express one's opinion.
That's good.
I mean, that's a good thing. Like,
it might get ignored, but you know.
I'm pretty sure there's a problem with this. Is the same thing as Korea, but there's a problem with seniors not listening to the younger people, and the younger people just like working like zombies and following orders because this is an Asian culture. Just considering this is a Japanese company, this is a really great thing that the upper class is listening to the younger class. It's so funny that I keep mentioning the work at home system. Apparently, it was really good. Again, many people like games. It's really question what is fun and what is interesting.
Attractiveness of employees and managers. I know it's a translation thing, but it's just a really funny way to title a review.
I've come up with good ideas several times while talking at a roundtable discussions. She recently moved to another office, while her previous office was close to the public, so she sat on the ground and thought of a project while saying no. It's probably a weird translation error. But he says, the workplace is easy to talk to, and there are a few people with unpleasant personalities. I think the people at least are nice people when they're not getting crunched.
Yeah,
5-star review.
When they're not having to push out a multi-million selling game in 30 days, they're probably really nice.
A company that puts a lot of effort into growth. The evaluation system is solid and is pervasive. The superiors are committed to developing their subordinates.
That's interesting because we had someone before saying that the evaluation system is very rigid and that as long as you just do what you're told to do, then you'll get like a normal grade and there's no kind of incentive to go above and beyond and make new things, make new ideas, implement new things, try harder.
The system is also well developed, and every 6 months, employees are asked to participate in the training they want to receive while consulting with their superiors. So there's good training, I guess. Someone says they put a lot of effort into growth, so good. Things to be worried about. Those who are older and whose skill have not caught up are retiring. It would be nice if there was a system that would allow them to revitalize their careers.
Oh, so if you're just older, then they don't learn new skills. Another review said previously that they don't learn new skills as well. So that's interesting. So the conclusion that we can come to here is that it might be a nice enough place to work at, and you may be listened to sometimes, but a lot of the corporate culture is quite stagnant, and there is not necessarily a drive or a motivation to create something that is different or new, or even that it might be that they just don't have enough time, or there is not the leadership there required, or there are restrictions in place that make it really hard to innovate in ways that would change things for the better. There was a comment down here. There's a comment that he references in his next video. He says, reading a bit of some of the reviews as you were reading them, most of the people that said that communication was good and I was heard were management and artist positions, and most of the people that said communication is bad and the company is stagnated were software and systems people. This paints an interesting picture, specifically for the latest games if you think about it. They're having a good time designing the world and padding things. The world building seems to be doing fine, but the technical people are responsible for programming and debugging are begging for more time, but aren't getting it, which kind of makes sense. The music and the characters are fine. There's a lot of charm, but the game is outdated at launch and plays like a bag of rocks and a pile of sticks. So yeah, I always think that in Pokemon games, the music is always banging. Like the designs are always cool, like the artistry and the effort that is put into like the ideas of the Pokemon, the background behind them, and the world building always seems like it's really cool. There's a lot of cool ideas that always go into it, and the music always bangs, but there's a lot of technical issues and obviously a lot of graphical issues as well. But I thought this was really interesting. Again, please go subscribe to the original creator of the video. They made some fantastic ones, and they make really good video essays on different subjects as well. And if you want me to react to something, leave it in the Discord server.